Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, and you're listening to Incredible Life Creator Podcast. My guest today is Regeline Sabbat, also known as Gigi. Regeline is a first-generation Haitian American, motivational speaker, author, and life coach. She is an experienced leader who has adopted a conservative approach to life, to help Christians and non-Christians grow spiritually, financially, professionally, and/or personally. She does this by setting clear and measurable goals for those that are ready to take action and experience life growth and transformation. Regeline truly believes multi-skilled individuals make great leaders. It's not about focusing on so many things at once, but it is about utilizing all of your skills for the greater good and for overall fulfilling God's purpose for our lives and to serve His people. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about you, where you grew up, and how you got to be where you are today?
Of course. Well, I'm from Coral Springs, was born in Coral Springs, and then my family moved to Palm Coast, Florida. Grew up in Palm Coast, and then I attended the University of Central Florida, where I obtained my BA in political science pre-law and sociology. And then I pursued law, so I went to law school in Tampa, Florida. And during my studies, I went through a domestic violence matter with a violent partner. And just recently in June of 2018, I almost lost my life. And so I'm truly grateful to be here. Domestic violence is it's something that's not taken lightly. It was a life-changing moment for me. And especially when strangulation is involved, it's so traumatic. And I'm truly grateful to be here. And, during that time, after that time, I went and I attended Andy Audate's Elite Presenters Academy. And that was from attending his progression conference in California. And then I went on tour with Andy. We went to Texas and California, and I spoke out about my story, and I shared my story to help others and let them know that they're to have faith and that they too can overcome the trials and tribulations that they face in their lives. And after that, I became a motivational speaker, author, life coach, and the CEO and founder of Life Service Center of America. So essentially, I wrote my book, Walk With Me, which launched just recently as well. And then I started my company, and now I am launching my podcast on July 13th of this year.
Oh, exciting.
Thank you.
Yeah, very exciting. So you've been on quite a journey, and so many times when we think of domestic violence, we think of a certain stereotype. Oh, it's going to be in a poor neighborhood or whatever. We have this stereotype, but the fact of the matter is it happens everywhere. And the most, richest families, the families that look like from the outside,
Correct.
Everything looks good. So if someone's actually in that situation, what would be your advice to them?
My advice to them is follow your gut feeling, follow your gut instincts, and pay attention to the red flags that you observe. Once you feel that, or you are aware of that, then it is what it is in its face. And I mean that to the fullest extent, because majority of the time there are signs and warning signs. And I always say, without God, I could not have been here today. And I'm truly grateful God has got me through that matter as well. And in regards to a sexual assault matter as well, when I was young, when I was 8 years old, I was sexually assaulted. So those are the two major life-changing incidents in my life. And I'm truly grateful to have overcame both. And without God, that wouldn't be possible. So I'm truly grateful for our God. Mm-hmm. And I want to help others know that they too can overcome those trials and tribulations that they are faced with in their lives.
Yeah, that's huge. And so talk to me about your faith.
My faith. Well, for me, I attended, Catholic school growing up. I was born a Catholic, but then I converted to a Christian. And ever since then, the Bible has been my best friend. I start my day off reading the Bible, go to bed reading the Bible. And for me, God is first and foremost in my life. And I could not have overcome the two major life-changing incidents in my life without God. And I want individuals to know that God needs to be first in our lives, because with God, all things are possible. Yes. And they too can overcome the trials and tribulations they are faced with in their life, as long as they have faith. And that is why I am also launching my book titled God First at the end of this year. So I'm truly grateful to share that with everyone else. And again, that's why in my company too, I'm assisting Christians.
Yeah. And I think even right now, in times when everything's kind of up in the air, people don't know what's happening, faith is so important, to be able to actually have faith and actually hope that things are going to be okay. And, you know, I'm also a Christian, and if I don't think I would be here without my Christian faith. I really don't.
Amen.
So it's just a beautiful thing. And I know there's a lot of people looking for meaning in life. I mean, that's really what I'm all about with my podcast and with my book. And it's, you know, it's called Finding Happiness, Fulfillment, but it's really comes down to meaning. And there's a book written by, I can't remember his name, but he does this kind of parable about this guy who goes and finds out what happiness means. And, you know, one of the main things, when he put a list of all the things that are really, really important, the number one was that you have faith, that you actually have a faith that you are living every day. That was part of being happy.
Amen. And prayers is very important as well.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You must pray every day.
Exactly. So now you started out in law, but you're not doing law now.
Well, I actually put that on pause. I promised my great aunt I would get the degree. And similar to the way I gave her a copy of my BA, my bachelor's degree, after I graduated UCF, I went and I handed her a copy at her gravesite. I promised her the law degree, so I'm going to give that to her. But for now, I love what I'm doing, and I'm going to continue pursuing what I'm doing as a motivational speaker, author, and life coach. All of my life, I've been helping others, but now God has taken me on another level, on a different platform, to be able to serve his people. So I'm going to continue serving his people on this new platform that he has given me, and I'm truly grateful for that. It's all about changing individuals' life, impacting their lives, and helping them experience massive transformation and growth in all areas of their life, including spiritually, financially, professionally, and personally.
Yeah, that is so beautiful. And, you know, so many times we do things almost living for other people. We don't realize it. You know, we want to please parents or an auntie or somebody, and we go and we do these different things that aren't what we really want to do. And a lot of times I find the things that are the hardest for me are the ones that I was trying to do for someone else. But when I'm doing something that I really love, then it's easy. It just flows. Have you found that to be the case?
Well, this is the thing. While I was in law school, I was the Student Bar Association president. So during that time, that's when I was abused. That's when I went through the domestic violence matter. Again, there were 2 incidents prior to the last incident that finally did it for me. The first 2, I was strangled, and I again, the gut feeling was there. The red flags were there. And I asked, you know, my ex-partner, I said, did you strangle me? And I was advised, no, I didn't do that. Maybe you have a cold or some sort of that. Maybe you have a cold. Maybe that's why your neck is hurting. So again, it happened twice before that. And then finally it happened again a 3rd time. And that's when I knew for sure, because it was right in its face. And for me, again, I was a Student Bar Association president. I oversaw all organizations on the campus while in law school. So that was during that time. And for me, that's why I decided to put that on pause after everything that occurred. Mm-hmm. And so again, I was serving the student body. I was serving my fellow colleagues, mm-hmm. and I was happy doing it. I love serving, you know, God's people. Mm-hmm. And here I am on a different platform. He's allowing me to continue to do that on a whole nother level. So I'm truly grateful.
Right. So how did you transition from that? So you were doing the law, being on the bar association, and now you're doing something kind of totally different. So how did that pivot or transition happen?
Well, I almost lost my life. And for me, that's what did it. And a verse actually too helped out a lot in Joshua 1:9. Haven't I commanded you be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid or discouraged, for your Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And that verse has changed my life tremendously. And for me, I am truly grateful again for the platform God has given me. We can say we're going to, do this or that. We can plan out things, but God ultimately directs our steps and our path. And he knows our plans that he has for us. And this is where he has put me now. And I am truly grateful for what I'm doing. Again, I'm still going to finish getting my law degree. But once that's done, that's it for me. I do not want to pursue that. I'm happy with what I'm doing, and I'm truly grateful. And I'm going to continue serving God's people on this platform.
Beautiful. So tell us about your book, Walk With Me.
Yes. Walk With Me. I love it. Well, the main point of Walk With Me is to allow others to know that to never give up. That's the purpose, to never give up. And I explained the trials and tribulations that I've had to overcome, again, that's sexual assault and domestic violence. And I let individuals know what I went through so that they too can overcome what they go through in their lives, and that they can have faith and to know that God is with us wherever we go.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. And at this point, so you're speaking and you have your book out. Do you do any one-on-one mentoring with people, or how are you helping people in this way?
Yes, ma'am. I do several trainings, motivational, financial training as well. While also after that time, after everything occurred, I actually became a financial representative as well. So while I have my company, I also provide WFG's products, that's World Financial Group. And I love what I'm doing. I love serving, again, God's people, and I love assisting them with their finances. So what I do is I meet with individuals and I see where they are and where they want to be. And I help them reach their goals and their dreams. It's all about them. And I help them achieve those goals and those dreams. And the fact of the matter is that I'm truly happy with what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm. That is just so awesome, because you're so others centered and focused, yet I see that you have a great love for yourself, and that's so important.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. You must love yourself before you can love others or help others as well. Again, it all goes back to that saying where you have to put your mask on first, or your life vest, before you can help assist someone else with doing so.
Exactly. And, with everything going on right now, and, we have this COVID thing, we have racial things happening. What's your best advice for just not only surviving, but thriving through this time of change?
Well, you bring up a great topic, a great point here, especially in regards to what's going on, the current issue, especially after the George Floyd incident. I think that shifted a lot of things during COVID-19, but we must all remember that there is a pandemic that is occurring, and violence is not the answer to anything that ever occurs in society. There is peaceful protest that needs to be done, and it needs to be done properly. And again, I will say this, that the George Floyd incident was not a racial matter. It was a legal matter. And this has now turned into a racial matter because of hate agendas that certain individuals want to put out in our society. Mm-hmm. And we as a society, especially if we want equality and we want peace, we all need to stand together now more than ever with the Black community, especially with what happened. But when I say that it's not a racial matter, I mean that we cannot be pushing out hate and saying that other lives don't matter. All lives matter. All lives truly matter. And again, we need to look at all incidents of what occurred, and we need to remember that the officer that did kill George Floyd knew George Floyd prior to the incident. So that is a fact that has been diminished in the media, where it needs to be discussed because it's truly significant. This is not just a random cop who killed George Floyd. This is a cop who knew George Floyd prior to the incident. So we need to know we know he had the intent, but why? Those are the questions that we need to be raising. Why? Why did the officer who knew George Floyd prior to the incident that took place kill George Floyd in bright daylight? Because that act was criminal and he murdered George Floyd.
I love your perspective as an attorney.
Thank you.
Because it takes out the emotion. Sometimes I think the emotions make us do things that we wouldn't otherwise do. And so, if, you're looking at it kind of from a third person above and kind of seeing the facts. And I think in everything, not just this thing, but in everything, we need to look at what the facts are so we can actually make decisions. We actually can choose how we're going to act instead of react. And so I just love that.
Thank you. And, that comes from the sociologist and the philosopher in me and in my background. And I will tell you this as well in regards to the George Floyd incident. Again, facts do matter. And the fact of the matter is that individuals are getting violent while they're protesting, and they're, affecting all of these companies and these businesses, and not even realizing that there are Black business owners that they have now affected during this time as well. When they are trying to affect, other races in our community and business owners, or they think they're harming them, they're not even realizing that they're affecting their own community. Some of the communities and the shops that they shop at. Yeah. It's shocking, but it's not, because the time has come now where we need to be having these discussions so that people are aware of the actions that they are doing, so that it stops. Because if they are not aware, and this does not stop now, we're taking ourselves many years back into history. And that's not what America's about. We need to have these discussions without attacking each other and without it making everything a racial matter. Because once we do that, the topic of discussion is diminished. We can no longer have these conversations to find a positive solution if we're having these discussions based off race and throwing hate attacks towards each other. We will never find a solution. So the time has come now where we need to stand together, and we need to stand with the Black community during this time. And the Black community needs to be aware of their actions and what they are doing, and make sure to take proper actions and peaceful protests, and realize that we are in a pandemic. The coronavirus is a pandemic, and many people are dying. And to be protesting in that way, it's not appropriate. We need to be having peaceful protests.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, the whole situation kind of, to me, makes me feel like we're being divided, and a house that's divided cannot stand. I mean, I think we need to stand together in this issue and other issues. I mean, I feel the same way about politics. It's like, okay, once the president is in the White House, I don't care if he's purple. I don't care what his religion is. Once he's in the White House, I'm going to pray for that president, and I'm going to pray for his success, regardless of how I feel personally about whatever, his beliefs are. And I think that's the only way we're going to have a united States, and, even looking at the world, a united world is by staying as one, not trying to divide with different things.
That is correct. And I support President Donald Trump and all that he's doing, especially during this time too. And I truly know that he cares for all people. And, he could have been, think about it, he could have been doing anything else, but he chose to be the voice of the people. And he has served since day one, and he has kept all of his promise to the American people. And I'm truly grateful to have him in office right now. And I want 4 more years of Donald Trump, and we're going to have that, because he's an absolutely amazing president. And I tell you what, especially during this time more than ever, he has done his daily meetings in regards to letting the Americans know what is going on with this pandemic. He has kept everyone up to date about what is going on, so no one should feel alone or unaware of things, because he has done daily meetings since this pandemic has occurred. And so I'm raising that awareness to everyone today.
Beautiful. And I have a question for you. It wasn't on the list of questions, but we are, tomorrow is 4th of July. What does freedom mean to you? When you think of freedom, what does that mean to you?
Well, tomorrow, July 4th, is our nation's birthday. And tomorrow is a day that we all need to be truly grateful for all that the brave men and women have done for us. They fought for us and our freedom. And again, you know, even as a business owner, just as an individual, I'm truly grateful to be here and to be an American. The land of the free.
Yeah, me too. I just love this country.
Yes, ma'am.
So you talked about your faith, but talk about putting God back into our society.
Okay, yes, of course. So God, again, why I say prayer is very important is because when you pray, you realize God's words and what they really mean. When you dive deep into the Bible and you take it in and you digest it, all of the words that God is speaking to you, God is speaking to us when we read the Bible. Then you understand what he's saying and you act based off what you read. You become God's disciple. You become his servant. And God is always with us, no matter where we go. And that's why we must continue to serve his people. We are the children of God, and we need to realize that. And again, prayer is very important. God needs to be first in our lives, especially with all that is going on in society. And you go back to all of our issues. Really think about it. If there's a God, why hasn't anyone really discussed God and him being first in their lives? It's because there's a stigma which says, okay, it's not okay to speak your religion or speak freely about your religion. But then you go back to our First Amendment, that is our right to speak freely about our religion. And every individual needs to become aware of that you have rights similar to your Second Amendment rights, your right to bear arms, where you're able to carry your firearm. You should know that you are able, based off your First Amendment rights, to speak freely about your religion. And that's why I speak freely about my religion, because I know my rights. I know my First Amendment rights. And there should be no reason why anyone ties that stigma to their lives and lets it hold them from their God, someone that created us. Our God created us. We should not be afraid to speak freely about our God. That is our right to do so. And that's why I say God needs to be put first in our lives, because it goes back to all of our issues. We wouldn't have those issues, if God was first in our lives and everyone was praying. These issues would be diminished.
Yeah, and it sounds like going back to just being one with everyone, being one in our concentration and what we're thinking about, what we're wanting, which is, you know, in the end, love, freedom, autonomy to be ourselves and to express ourselves, because we do have rights as people. And I think that's just beautiful the way you've said that.
Thank you. And that goes back to what Martin Luther King Jr. said. He said that hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. So you said it correctly. Love is what matters. And that is what we need to be portraying out there and putting out there. And we need to be doing it genuinely. And we need love out there in our community. We don't need violence. Violence is never the answer.
Yeah. So now you're going to be launching a podcast. Tell me about that. What's going to be the purpose or the meaning of the podcast?
I'm super excited about that. Thank you. It is titled Walk With Me. And essentially, my guests will be, and the viewers will be walking with purpose. And why I say that is because, again, God is first in my life. And I want others to know that God, too, can be first in their lives. And as he already is, it's just about raising that awareness. And I want to help others experience massive life transformation and growth, spiritually, financially, professionally, and personally.
Beautiful. So will you be doing like solo casts, or will you have guests on your podcast?
I will have guests. I have 6 guests currently right now. And I'm super excited to get those episodes going and to kick off the show with my guests. I'm truly grateful for each of them.
That is so exciting. I started this podcast. I'm coming up on my year anniversary, and I have met the most amazing people going through this process, just including you, with the most amazing people who have enhanced my life. And I feel like that this is my give back, because as I share these people on the podcast, everybody benefits from hearing their wisdom, their knowledge, their experiences. And, the hope is that it will inspire someone to say, hey, what can I do that will give my life meaning, give me purpose? How can I live on my passion? And, yours is very similar and really, God focused also, that, every part, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, everything is so, so important. And then the money piece is like hugely important, that piece, because so many times that gets left out. There's a lot of sometimes negative programming around money, like, money doesn't live on trees, or, too much money is not good. When you're working with your clients, do you help them with that mindset when it comes to money?
Of course, yes. I help my clients shift their mindset from a negative mindset to a positive mindset. And again, I'm a motivational speaker, and so I help them do so. And I will say this, again, in regards to the financial aspect, another reason why I got involved in that is because while I was on campus and I talked to a few of my colleagues, I realized that there was a pattern in regards to individuals having an issue with finances. And I also talked to individuals in society, and I found out the same issue was occurring in the same patterns. And what I found is that individuals want financial freedom, but they don't understand that you need to obtain financial security first before you can have financial freedom. And then I also realized that many individuals have different views of finances. So when you start discussing finances with someone who does not understand finances, then many things get mixed up and you will never truly understand finances, which is why it's truly important to obtain a financial representative or an individual who has a background in the financial industry. And it's very important because individuals such as myself will assist those individuals with reaching their goals and their dreams. And that's why I provide comprehensive financial planning to my clients to help them every step of the way.
Beautiful. And what are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about financial securities, financial freedom, about money in general?
Of course, yes, ma'am. That they believe that there's always going to be more. They believe that they can do anything and they're going to have an income coming in, but that's not how it works. Again, we go back to residual income. We know that if you do something once, then you continuously get paid for it. But many individuals don't understand that. So again, that goes back to some people having a discussion with someone who knows finances. When you start having those discussions, if that gets mixed up, that's where the misunderstanding comes from in regards to that there will always be money if someone doesn't understand what residual income means. Mm-hmm. Again, that means you do something once and you continuously get paid for it. But now somebody's not aware of that, they won't comprehend that clearly. And again, many individuals are not aware of budgeting and things of that nature and what that means, or saving, the importance of saving. And that is something that needs to be discussed. And that's what I discuss with my clients.
Yeah. So I've heard two different ways of thinking. Some people say, well, you should save, you should have a nest egg, you should have saved so much, at least 6 months or something, or a year of your salary in case something happens. And then I've heard other people say, oh no, your money should be working for you. You should be socking it into real estate. You should be putting it into stocks. That money should be moving and out making more money for you. What's your thoughts?
Well, in regards to that, it all depends, because every individual I meet on a client, one-on-one basis, everyone is different. So again, every individual is unique. So it's all about that individual and their goals and their dreams. Where is that individual now, and where does that individual want to be? And I help them get there to achieve their goals and their dreams. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Thank you.
So now your company, Life Service Center of America, what is the purpose of that?
Life Service Center of America provides business consulting, life coaching, and mentoring services. And there are two aspects. The first aspect are our motivational programs and courses, which are taught by myself, by me. And then the second aspect is our business service navigator. And what that is, it allows our members to locate the services they need in a timely manner. instead of having to go through thousands of web pages. So no matter where you travel, you'll be able to enter your zip code, your state, and the service that you need. And we do have our partnership program as well. And I'm truly grateful to have met with companies and business owners who have partnered with us prior to our launch. And our launch will be occurring in just a few weeks here. So I'm super excited about that, and to get that going, to continue serving God's people on this new platform that has been given to me. And my mission for Life Service Center of America is to continue helping others experience massive life transformation and growth, spiritually, financially, professionally, and personally. So I'm truly grateful.
All right. So when you talk about they can find whatever services they want, what services, what are you talking about?
Okay, for example, let's say you needed assistance with locating transportation. You'll be able to locate that service via the drop-down menu. You need you need a life coach. You'll be able to locate that via drop-down menu. Any service that you need, you will be able to find it via the drop-down menu. You need a vehicle company of some sort, you will be able to locate it via the drop-down menu.
Okay, so these are people who have been vetted by the company to actually be providers?
That is correct. They become service providers through our partnership program. And again, the vehicle example I provided would tie back to transportation. So they would be able to locate that via our drop-down menu.
Mm-hmm. So would that be something like an Uber, or would it be like a rental car, or?
A rental car, for example. Yes, ma'am. And they would be able to locate that via the drop-down menu and be able to see what they want, because the service providers would be able to provide their details and their logo as well.
Wow. So you have done a lot in this short time, law school, wrote a book, do all these things. For you, what gives you the most happiness, joy, fulfillment in your life?
For me, it's all about serving God's people, and I love what I do. I mean, again, I've been doing this all my life, and I love what I do. So for me, that's what gives me happiness, fulfillment, and joy. And I love what I'm doing, and I love seeing individuals experience massive life transformation and growth, spiritually, financially, professionally, and personally. And to see the happiness and the faces and the smiles of other individuals when they experience that massive life transformation and growth, it's truly, and it makes me happy to see others happy. And I will say this, at the end of the day, God will tell me, great job, my faithful servant. And for me, that's what matters.
That is what matters. Exactly. So if people wanted to contact you or get a hold of you, how could they do that? Any other things you want to share? I think you had a course coming up. Share those things.
Of course, I have a financial literacy training that's coming up here on July 10th. Super excited about that. Many individuals are joining us. And for those individuals who join us and they have 5 people sign up with them, they will get a free one-on-one coaching with me. So make sure to sign up for it. And make sure to go to my website, www.lifeservicecenterofamerica.llc.com, and sign up.
All right. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. And I just loved what you were talking about as far as, what's happening right now, because I think people just need that calming, practical, logical look at what's going on to take that emotion out. And it really was calming for me, and I hope for other people too. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. And thank you for having me on your podcast.
Yeah. Kimberly. And one last question before we get off.
Yes, ma'am.
For you, what's your best advice on living a most incredible, amazing life?
For me, it's to remind individuals to let go and let God. Again, God is in control, and God directs our paths, and He makes our plans for our lives. Let go and let God, and you will see your life transform tremendously.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For having me.
Yes. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Yes. God bless you.